Okay.
Mm.
Bum, ba-dum, ba-ba-da-bum, bum, ba-bum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. And there we are.
And we're alive.
Hello.
Hello, Captain
Oh,
August.
I can still write. I can also type in the chat. That's fabulous. Okay.
Oh, I could also type like
Captain Mavis.
curly. Yeah,
How are you?
Captain. I'm fine this evening. Excited even for this experimentation on the
Uh-huh.
new moon in Aquarius to plant some seeds with you.
New moon in Aquarius. Yes. It has felt that way. Yeah.
Mm.
I just came out of a call already with some co-conspirators, reminding me of the mission of the big traveling circus regenerative culture seeding process.
Mm-hmm. The regenerative culture seeding process. Yes, I would subscribe to that mission too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just seeding. I think it's gonna be also about protecting the seeds for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the plan that we have already in place, or not in place, but the plan that we have already been carrying for, I would say, 2 years, close to now. Yeah, 2 years. It's it's there. It's there. It is about coming and making a container, like not even making it, facilitating the process for local communities to hold their own space
Mhm.
in which uh, a commons is created, a place where community processes can happen, where where we start to grow our own food and all this stuff, but also just come together and yeah have our own rituals, have a fire, and
Mm,
have a place where we come together and meet because we share a sense of responsibility for the fate of our community and for the fate of our planet as a whole.
mm.
And that the
And the
waste that
land that we steward, no?
yeah
Mm,
yeah and to do that, and this is yeah it would be the clear part of the mission to get that feeling back of co-stewarding land,
mm-hmm.
co-owning land,
Mm,
and taking holding responsibility for it because it's part of what makes our community stick together.
mm. And I guess that's one of the many seeds we need to plant, right, for a new
Hmm.
configuration of civilization to
Yeah,
actually shift into the mindset and into the knowledge of how to steward the land and how to build a different relationship to the land.
hmm,
And from there, we can scale it then. Like if we start with little pockets of reality and communities, and then it can be scaled through the mycelium.
that's what, yeah. And well, but even just to experience that feeling where it just starts,
Mm,
that you that in a way we feel one cliche is disconnected from nature, and one big part of that is in not stewarding land,
mm,
and then everybody's thinking, oh, but I have my garden or I have this and this. Yeah, but there is a way, there in a way there is no doing that by yourself.
mhm,
That there is a necessary element of community and collective in any real relationship with land that answers the full spectrum of your uh, biological needs.
mhm,
For one simple reason is that mycelium outlives us. The soil is
mm,
older than we are.
mm,
You, the even your starter, sourdough starter is older than you are, you know. Uh, and there's this, yeah, well, I really feel a lack of having been handed knowledge of what my relationship to my land is.
Mm.
That this was simply not a thing. And instead of it, it reminds me of when you have cooking, remember when everybody knows this cliche example of um, Edward Bernays, if you've watched the hypernormalization and Adam Curtis stuff, you know about this the 50s supermarkets, and then you get like the prefabricated dough or the prefabricated flour mix to make a dough to bake a cake. And
Mm.
basically, it's you just have to add water. But people were unhappy about this, so they modified the women who this was being marketed to were unhappy about it. So they modified the recipe and they changed it. So it's no longer just add water. You have to add water and an egg. And now it was a big hit. These pre-mixed cake mixes, because the egg is like symbolic stand-in for this that it's really yours, that it's you that who's making this. The sense that you made a cake, you made a bread, you baked this for your family, for your community. This is a need that we physically feel. Um,
There's
and
something happening with your sound that there's like some like high pitch.
yeah. Shall I unplug myself? Hold on. How about this? Is it better?
Yes, I think. Well, now your voice is a little bit lower, but I think there's not the crick crack crack anymore.
Yeah, but if, in a way, I feel that gardening and like getting stuff from the gardening shop to get your dirt is just the same sort of pathetic stand-in, this childish simulacrum. It's not the real thing. It's
Mm.
not the real thing. And I think that without the real thing, we're not going to make it.
Because the more we dive deeper into the simulacrum, the more disconnected we become from our biological self, right? And it's gonna be a challenge in the age that's starting, right? The age of Aquarius as well, the age of technology, where like more and more of our attention is going like online and to virtual realities and into the AIs and cyberdelic consciousness and whatnot, which also is fascinating to explore with the other fools.
Uh-huh.
But I think we do, in terms of like a resilience towards this time, also need to refocus and reground in our biology as well, like, and in our bodies, and like putting our feet on the ground and actually getting our nails dirty, getting like access to soil as well.
Uh-huh.
There's studies that say that like putting your hands in the in the soil has actually antidepressant properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's vitamins that we lack simply because we don't eat the dirt.
That's right. It's good to see you,
You
Captain
too.
Obvious. It's been a time.
Uh-huh. Hasn't it?
Yeah, underworld journeys.
I'm still in it. That's why I'm so dark. You see it. But it's coming. It's coming. Like the mission is kind of tugging at me. Like, okay, 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 enough with your moping about. Yes, it has its place, but and it's necessary. Okay, but then now move and mope, walk and talk,
Hmm.
and this is yeah. And in a way, maybe that's a good theme of this sense of the the stand-in thing. Like the illusion isn't going to cut it anymore. The yeah. We, the need is real. The moment is real. The time is real. We cannot be satisfied with pretense. So that's why I feel like it's good to be strict. I sense something real is happening in Substack, but I hope that it can be maintained. I'm not, it's still a business. It's still a business. But It's this is in the enshittification cycle. We're in the honeymoon phase of the platform. Yeah,
Mm.
where we as the users are being given this is like the value. Like there's value in something, and we are being given it because they want to attract the users. But once everybody's hooked in, then it shifts again.
Well, then we find other waters.
Yeah, but I think they have a relatively functional business model already, just taking a cut of the subscription model. So in a way, it's like Patreon, but better.
I mean, I've been here on this platform now for what, 2 days, and I feel like already that the conversations that are happening here have more substance. The people that I've been encountering here and the different substacks I've been finding and the network of substacks I've been like creating or building feels
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, there's a lot more solar punk, revolutionary, philosophical, like protect your
Yeah.
tech. Um, so
Well,
like it's attracting people that are actually like looking to discuss solutions and how to move
right.
forward and away from that
Yeah.
cyberpunk shit show unfolding in the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, I think we get a nice little Venn diagram here of like the people who are finally okay, finally leaving Facebook because they were having good conversations there. That was also what kept me on Facebook for a long time. And they're like, no, 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 it's not worth anymore. And they come here now. And the people who quit Twitter a long time ago, like, okay, okay. And then Tumblr, like this is kind of like the mixing pot that we're in. It's like,
And
okay,
they're hungry to build a network and to build the conversations. And
yeah,
what I'm liking, I'm liking the mix that you have your Substacks and your publications, and then everything can be like in neat order, and people can like browse also through a history and kind of like read into the stuff that you've been doing. It's not
yeah,
just like lost in the sauce of the stream. And at the same time, you do have a stream. You can like
yeah.
scroll around, but you're getting also like notes and stuff from people that are not yet in your network. So like
But
you're
I would like to have more control of that in the algorithm. Like I would like a slider where I can put it all the way to one side. I just want to see my subscription. I'm just gonna scroll and I just want to see. I feel like I follow enough people now. I just want to read what they actually write. I don't care anymore to discover more stuff. You know,
hmm hmm
and then you
fair
can
enough,
slide
yeah.
it to like include what they are reblogging or restacking, and then you can slide it further to like allow the algorithm to start like you know trickle in like this you would love this piece. Like okay, okay, show me then, but then really also make a big thumbs up, thumbs down button. Like make it clear that I'm training the algorithm at that point. Like let me give the algorithm a cookie if it interrupted my feed for the right reason. Yeah.
Yeah, like more agency in training your algorithm in
Yeah,
general, like
yeah,
sovereignty in training your algorithms would
yeah.
be a nice
E-
feature. Yeah.
Even like let me add feedback why I'm choosing to give a little thumbs up on that moment. You know,
Mm,
like what is it specifically that got then it's okay. Then it's cool. Yeah, I'm happy with algorithms. The problem is not the tech. The problem is what goal is the tech serving, and is that
mm,
to have these conversations and insights and have this need like a common where we come together and have our voices out and share and come up with the new ideas, right? Have a real
mm,
public forum. This is what Twitter used to be, but then they turned it into a megaphone, right? Or they took like get specifically like, find out who do we want to platform because you have your own agenda, and
mm.
this is a complete betrayal of of what is bringing people to these platforms, and it's twisting. The,
Mm. Well, I'm curious how people are gonna take this live stream formats and the video blogging or the
mm-hmm.
video podcasting, because I've come across a couple of voices that say like, no man, I'm here for the writing. And as you said, as
Yeah.
to me as well, your selling argument was like, get on fucking Substack, start writing, because writing elevates. And I was like, nah, I like to
Yeah,
talk
but
to the
this is a
camera
basic.
more.
But speaking and talking to camera is in a way it's so nice to have it on one platform. It's so great.
Yes. Yes, so you can have both, right?
Yeah.
Like this exploratory space that's
Yeah.
unscripted, where we can like elaborate and ping and have like our
Yeah.
brainwaves synchronize and come up with creative ways to explore the topics that we were talking about, and then grasp inspiration from there as well to then sit down and do the writing. And the writing process is something that requires more mental structure and more clarity to deliver the words.
Uh huh. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can post the live stream because somebody asked me. Somebody sent me a DM, or was it a DM? No, it was a reply to a note. So I'm gonna try and just share the thing. So yeah, before we glaze the platform too much, let's test it.
Mm, mm.
Let's test it out. Uh,
Like, there's one person watching. Is that you over your other device, or do we have actually a viewer?
I have no idea, but if you are here, please drop
Drop
a
a line. Yeah.
in chat because. But I think no, I think it's you actually, the viewer.
Me, the viewer?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Probably you, the viewer. I'm streaming and you're chatting. I don't know.
yeah, but
Well,
I'm not watching it. But
hmm,
I am seeing it in the top scroll bar. Anyway,
okay.
it doesn't matter
Anyway, that doesn't matter. Um,
because that's also one of the things I really like about this place is I posted blogs like 2 years ago. I was here 2 years ago,
mhm.
and there's some blogs on there. They're still on there. It's still findable. And yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Like even longer now. I think like your earliest post was even from 2021.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember I love Medium because it was like so I'm actually looking for even more live stream. What I want to live stream myself writing. Th- Yeah, I want to be sharing my screen. My problem with the live stream is that it's only on the app. I want to do it on the PC. I want to do
Yeah.
Hanabi stuff like while I'm writing. I want to like stream the fact that I'm writing it. Uh, yeah, and
That's a bit like I think that would count as cyberdelic as well, kind of like this
I'm like
meta observation of
it's like
processes.
well, it's also because you have the interaction with chat. I want to do the interaction with chat. That's such a key part for me of live streaming. Like that blew my mind the first time I did it, which was
Mm.
during Occupy. I feel like I was like, on the very start of that wave of live streaming. I just
They're
didn't.
kind of like disappearing from the screen and coming back in.
Okay,
Yeah, better.
yeah, it's because I have it on the. So these little the apps. So the app is okay. The app is funny, but I want to do it on PC to do it properly.
You hear us, Substack? We want us to give access to live streaming from the PC.
Uh-huh. Yes. Even if it's just difficult, even if give us like properly tell me what the stream key is, and just for people who do it like the old-fashioned way, then and then you can roll it out cleanly with a. I recommend just integrating Jitsi. If we just add a Jitsi or Big Blue button, if you just take Big Blue button and stick it inside Substack, okay, then you can have a real joke to what's his face about the everything app. Substack can be the everything app.
So, in terms of also story building, I'd say
Mhm.
we could do some introduction round of what the fuck are we doing here on Substack and
Oh,
live
we're
streaming.
recruiting people for the revolution.
Yeah.
That's the absolutely. We're like or volunteering for it also, depending on. It's yeah, yeah. And in a way, and I get to decide. I get to define what that word means for me. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
For
for
me, it's rapid evolution.
yes, yes.
You know,
Exactly.
revolution has not necessarily needs to be like bloody, destructive overthrowing. It can be also just like a rapid evolution.
I'm
And
I'm,
I think that we need to go into rapid evolution mode if we don't want to, if we want to maintain Homo sapiens in the evolutionary game. And even in the more dramatic sense you put it in your post, like, you know, if we like really fuck this up, we're gonna fuck up the chances for evolution to develop intelligent life on this planet before it becomes
oh yeah.
completely inevitable. And the
Hey,
whole
and one
space
more
migration project,
and imagine if this is about the light of consciousness in the galaxy. Imagine if we really are the only species, if we really are the only planet where there's life, and we snuff it out because we were too cowardly to change it. How can any of us, expect to live peacefully in heaven? Well, this will be the real hell. Hell will just be like, wait, just like,
you fucked it up, man.
you
You
have like
fucked
an
it up.
outer, yeah, I imagine we just get an out of body experience where we just wait out until the heat death of the universe, uh, as we just sort of hover around the scarred remnants of a planet, rather than reincarnate into like the continued story of our
Mm.
species. Like that would be our fate if we don't manage. Then we just have to sit it out. Oh my god. Please don't. Please, I don't want this to be true. It would suck so much.
Well, like the good thing is that only we, from the perspective we are right now, experience time as linearly. So there are probably still other possibilities to go back
Yeah,
and other junctures of time to take another course and another dab at it. But
that's not.
you know, yeah, like
At
that's
what
not.
cost? At what cost? At what
I don't
cost?
know.
A whole branch of timelines, and that's still wishful thinking. What if that's not there? What if it really is? What if it's really this?
Just the one timeline.
This is the timeline. This is reality. This is all there is. We can't play this cynical death wish game of, oh, but the cockroaches will make it and they will sprout new arms. There's not enough time until the sun scorches the surface of the planet to reimagine intelligent life from a destroyed biosphere, and then somehow get to the point of travel. And even if we manage it, we still end up with a billion years of delay. And there is the heat death of the universe. There is an end game, and and if it is exponential, we have a chance to really bring the light of consciousness to the entire universe. If we wait another 500 million years before we do it, because we've wiped out this attempt at intelligent life, the outcome of that result might be that there will be a whole like outer zone banner of of unexplored uh, segments of the universe at the heat of death of it that we will not have seen at all.
I mean, I like this as a thought experiment to
Yeah.
like pinpoint the urgency, but I don't actually believe this to be the case,
It's
and
not.
I don't think that we are the only intelligent life, maybe the only one in non-Euclidean space.
No, but we can't take the risk. It's
for
it's
for the
irres-
sake of argument and urgency, let's assume that's the case. Yeah.
it's not worth even it's not worth any amount of risk that this could be,
Okay.
because of the enormity of the consequences. We must give it all.
We
We
must
must.
give it all. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I
We
I
must.
I, I feel that, and I felt that weight on my shoulders since a very young age. Um, and I've kind of like I've managed to create some fun stories, like Like, it's just my shift at the cosmic customer care department.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to make it feel a little bit lighter,
A
a little bit more playful,
little
and a
bit
little
like
bit more fun, and that's so that my my inner my inner cynic can be silenced, or like go along, and it's like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's just a game, you know, it's just a game. It's not that much of a response. You just give
yeah,
it your best, you know, play the
yeah,
game
yeah,
to the best of your ability. It's just a shift, you know, you do the shift to the best of your
yeah,
ability,
yeah,
you do
yeah,
your
yeah.
service shift, and that's okay.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise that weight of, like, you know, it's serious and you really have to give it your fucking best, at times it's crushed me, you know.
Yeah, yeah, but there's, well, yeah, life is a game, but it's not a joke.
Well, at the end it's also a cosmic joke. At
Yes.
the end it's also a cosmic
Yeah, but
joke.
that's there's something about that, like the joke works because it's delivered with seriousness,
Yeah.
and in a way, there's like the
I
and
felt that
people.
one. I felt that one.
Happy to hear. And because now there's, I hear people who I hear otherwise also say interesting things, like complaining about the irony pilled, uh,
Mm,
ironic distance that it feels like too many people have
mm,
to the business of life. And there is something revolutionary about taking it seriously. And in a way, it's funny because it's cringe.
mm,
There's something about voluntarily stepping into that role of the lulz cow that makes it an inherent joke. So you don't have to sit there being a clown about it. You're
mm.
already a clown. Precisely because you're taking it seriously.
Well,
I
not a clown, not a clown. I think, like, I'm going more with the jester or the trickster or the fool archetype here, right? As a certain levity to it, but you know, you still know that the consequences are there, you know, and the dildo of consequences will, like, find you on loop.
As it often does.
What?
As it so often does.
Yeah, yeah. So, but you know, I think, like, when we invest too much fox and take the things too seriously,
Yeah, then the pain also gets
the,
harder because we're too stiff to react appropriately. We're not flexible. We're not smooth. We're not juicy about it. Therefore, it's harder. Therefore, it doesn't land. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I see that in so many of the activists and also friends, you know, that, you know, are feeling that weight and the doom and gloom, and it's starting to
Mhm.
feel as well as that, like, that responsibility and the chances for success, like, slimming down, and then it gets to a point of, like, inevitability of a crushing doom, and that is disempowering at the end, right? And if you start,
Yeah,
like, disempowering, you're not gonna do shit, because at some point it just, like,
yeah.
paralyzes you. And I see that in many people, and that's why I'm passionate about making this about playful liberation of consciousness, right? Playful liberation.
I mean, yes. And liberation of consciousness is like there. Yeah, there's some. This is the evolution, right? This is the evolution element. It's like, hey, we gotta. Yeah, it's an invitation to step out of the matrix, like unironically,
Mhm.
and that is kind of funny. That is there's yeah, because in a way it isn't all there. It's not all there is. Yeah, I was just making the case for taking it seriously, or taking the weight of the call seriously.
Take the calling seriously, But the mission as a quest.
Hmm. Play it. Yeah, I don't know. Give it your all, and that includes your sense of humor and your compassion and your patience
Mm,
and your joy and your gentleness and your care.
mm, mm,
It does not just because it's a serious mission doesn't give you the permission to be an asshole about it or to be insensitive or to. It's not that the it's there's no right way to do it, and especially not if you insist that your way is the right way to do it. But there is a. It's really about give it your all.
mm,
If we each give it our all, if we each follow our heart and
mm.
allowed to open, and then from there, and that when you faced with difficulty and you recognize the need for sacrifice to be made to achieve something, then l- make sure that let each person decide for themselves what they are ready to sacrifice, and for you, what you sacrifice of yourself, rather than yeah, the ends don't justify the means. The ends don't justify the means, and you don't have permission to uh, use the seriousness of the situation to abuse others in order to yeah in order to
Well, I'm feeling the self-sacrifice bit though.
yeah well good that's the yeah yeah I mean but it's bigger than us. It doesn't belong to you. The-
No, no. I don't. I think for me it's the other way around. It's like I've done a lot of self-sacrificing for the mission. Um,
mm,
or for any mission, like. But at the end of the day, a lot of like internal bullshit generator stories as well of like what mission you're on. And I mean, I said I feel the weight of the mission since I was very small, but the narrative of the mission has changed over my life. As you live and gain experience and um, see a bigger scope of the parameters and the collective unfolding of the story, right? So your internal story changes as well. But if I do look back at my life, I think I'm rather the type that's like ready and willingly to sacrifice a lot of herself for the
mm,
cause and for the mission.
yeah
And that's why it's a cosmic customer service shift. It's like service.
hmm yeah
um
it's just it's just about the antidote to this bullshit mentality of sacrificing others or dictating to other people what they have to sacrifice that I wanted to like
mm,
specifically have a counterpose or a counter narrative for.
mm.
Yeah.
Counter narrative is a good keyword, right? As well. I feel like I am like the solar punk manifesto
Mm-hmm.
has a bit around mm, solar punk. It's solar punk to realize and acknowledge that everything is going to shit and that we're in for a hard ride and that things are going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
But we choose to tell upbeat stories. We choose to create positive,
Mm-hmm.
illuminating, enlightening, and inspiring narrative
Mm-hmm.
to,
Yeah.
to like invest Fox in that other reality that can be created, right? It's about also
Yeah. It,
inspiring action, and it's about um yeah, like bringing also that like emotional investment and our imaginations on board into like what alternatives and alternative systems can be created.
yeah.
So
It's to liberate.
storytellers, writers, inspired poets. all very needed medicine for a solar punk revolution.
And they are gravitating here.
Yeah.
And I have last thing about solar punk is that it's like deliberately chosen that name to be like a counter move to this cyberpunk hellscape vision. Yeah, that's all. That's like yeah, and yeah, it's harder. It's not the easy way. The easy way out is to give up,
Mhm.
and the hard way is to surrender.
Yeah, the surrender. The surrender. It's still a practice for me, and I got something to learn from you there.
Me too. But I get glimpses. I get glimpses to remind myself with
Mm,
about it, and the practice hasn't let me down.
mm,
I've let down the practice, and I feel it every time. I create friction. I create bullshit to get triggered on. For sure, for sure. And one of the things to surrender is also old habits, and when I don't do that, I also get repeating patterns. So yeah.
mm. Old habit and repeating patterns. The triggers kind of like the other topic of this podcast, right? What we might be exploring with the format we've called the hidden treasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, for it also to be an exploration of that, of like patterns, survival mechanisms, shadows, the blind spots, the gaps in the maps, and like to dig for where we can find the gold.
Yeah. Yeah. That you're reminding me about that. It's like, hey, what are you learning on the way? What are you encountering? What are you dredging up as you're traversing or as you're moving your path or your journey or your quest? And one thing I noticed is that I am kind of confronted with a bit of terror. Like I do feel kind of like I'm rushing, like I'm not allowing myself rest, or I'm not allowing myself to let things take their time. Um, I mean, I take naps. I spend a lot of time like staring into the distance, worrying about not doing the thing. But in a way, I'm not doing the thing, and it's yeah, I'm learning about my ADHD patterns. Also from Substack, people are very knowledgeable and sharing and funny to open this up, and it's a very nice space for also that sort of collective sharing of your gifts, sharing of your hidden treasure, of your discoveries, um,
Mm,
in terms of like the psychological waters
mm.
and yeah what's the felt experience. And you mentioned like, oh yeah, the people coming here. I do feel this is a good place to
I'm looking for treasure.
yeah to investigate,
Mm.
to find a
I
collaborative.
find I find there's more curiosity for inquiry and like more. I mean, the base of the format is long content format, right?
Mhm.
So people have probably a higher willingness to engage in mind explorations, right? Like the writing is explorative in some ways. Yes, it's sharing knowledge, it's sharing treasure,
Mhm.
it's sharing skill, it's sharing
Yeah, I already met.
insight.
I met actually a fabulous, fa- tremendously gifted astrologer on here.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you were missing an astrologer in your personal
I think
um
so.
cosmos. Yeah. Mm.
Well, yeah, because
There was a vacancy, let's say so.
there was indeed a vacancy. Yeah, For sure, in my court or pantheon, there was definitely.
I have my astrologer I trust. I like my Georgia.
Yeah, you said what you said. She's great as well. Yeah, yeah.
She's funny, she's humor, she's Sicilian, Italian, you know, she has the spice and she still
Mhm.
serves it like very direct and with humor, double Aquarian. So yeah, I really love her, Georgia. If you ever see this, this goes out for you.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a viewer. Oh, it's the Sea Hag Live. Wow. Hey, great to
Sea
see
hags.
you.
That's very fitting given our.
She has been
We're
recruited for the
also.
elf. Like she commented on my first post, the Chaos Compass, and said like, yeah, she's up for the Elysian Liberation Front.
Hello.
Hey, Haley is your name. I'm from Ohio. Salute you, ahoy! Welcome to
Welcome
this
aboard.
first exploration of the hidden treasure. It's nice to meet you. We're Yeah, checking us out. Yeah, yeah. We're based in Berlin, myself, in Amsterdam here, Captain Obvious. Oh,
The
we have a
Amsterdam
second.
common. Oh yeah, this is yeah. Hello, Vanya.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, well. So we did our
Vanya.
phase, huh? That was the preliminary phase. We reiterated our mission statements of being part of the collective evolution, rapid evolution, and being grateful that we found uh, a place here where others also gathering with their thoughts and their feelings and showing up. So thank you.
And we're talking about, yeah, that we feel that this Substack place or the Substack seas are a place where people are very eager and willing to share bits of wisdom and bits of knowledge and skills and to gather around and see to how we can create movement
Uh huh.
movement against the or like a counter movement or at least some form of weaving of alternative reality over the
Yeah, narrative frameworks, alternative presenting, hard words, simple answers, uh, nothing burgers. Let's hear from the people. I think I'm out of my. No, this is the one. Huh? It's so yeah. Now I just want to ask what's going on. Like, what's the? Shall we just like pull up a text?
flip a text.
Like, do
Mm,
I don't know about
yeah,
this.
this is interesting right now. It's people watching in the chat, and
Okay,
before it felt like our private conversation riffing that we were know that's going to be published and other people will
okay.
see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we make a. Let's see. What I would like to like for to come out of this
Mm,
is, well, I feel like I have a mission to bring a fun show and give like a live from the edge of the volcano play by play commentary plus community feedback platforming as we like circle the abyss in a way, as we are live from the edge of the madness and
mm,
learning how to balance, because we are walking a fine line. It's like the thread of history is under some tension, and you
mm,
feel it in your life. If you
mm,
have, everybody feels it. Your soul is stirring, singing that hey, it's time to move, time to live, time to answer some. It's like an evolutionary bottleneck that we're
mm.
squeezed through. And how do you live in a way that honors that?
And how you maintain the balance for surfing those waves in a world going mad without losing your shit, right? because that's also going to be a challenge, right? As different chaos waves hitting our way, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole complexity of the poly crisis sort of
Yeah.
washes over us. As we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about before, like how can we create inner balance but also like uphold the narratives and the positive narratives and kind of like the playful questing vibe,
By
so
doing it
that we
together.
don't get crushed by those waves, and not get crushed by the weight of the mission or the
Yeah.
quest that we have
Because we
in
try to
lieu
do it
of.
alone. That's why it's so heavy.
Yeah.
Because we think that we are carrying the fate of the world alone. And then it's heavy. But if you're knowing that you are carrying your part of the fate of the world, and you're doing that together, and you're like sharing the load, you're
Mm,
anticipating when other people, like when you're trying to carry a cabinet up a stairs,
mm,
you know when sometimes you have to carry
mm,
90%, sometimes the
mm,
other person, you have to trust each other, you have to find.
mm,
But
mm,
if you think you're alone in it, yeah, then it's in a way it's like we're doing this to stay sane, because in a
mhm,
way the complexity the complexity is so large that it's pointless to have the hubris to think that you can understand the polycrisis, but you can feel what it's like to be in it, and then notice what that brings up in you,
mm,
because that there's the key to what is going to be your contribution. And by being connected with other people, that's how you stay sane about it.
mm. Well, collective story weaving, right? Integration, collective sense making, and
Sense
that's
making,
what
yeah.
a lot is broken. This polycrisis is breaking is our sense making. So coming together, sharing stories, finding meaning. Um, and I was just seeing now I don't see that anymore because you put it collective sense making. But the sea witch was saying like mourning, and that's something
Yeah.
I've been like preaching as well, right? We do have to make
Yeah.
collective mourning as well,
Yeah.
like carry the grief in community, because that's how we anchor grief as well, you know. This way society has pushed us in like just like ignoring grief or suppressing grief, or like, oh yeah, somebody you died, and you know you have like maybe 5 days of mourning and then please get back to functioning, and
Mm.
it completely ignores sometimes the weight and the bereavement of the grief we feel.
Yeah,
And then
going through it right now.
I know, love.
And it's but in a way, maybe I understand, like it's a dark night of the soul, and I get to carry my part of the collective dark night of the soul. And yeah, it's been 6 months, and I'm still daily hurting. But I'm proud of it, because I'm realizing that I can be proud of it, because if it's about carrying the weight of the world, for the moment I feel like I'm carrying my part, and that relieves the burden. Do you know which book is about that?
No,
I have it here.
the red book from Carl Jung. Yeah.
It's about that. It is about the point of individuation is so that you carry your weight, so
Mm,
that you unburden God from the responsibility of carrying you. If you individuate, you connect with your soul, you take on your slice of the weight of being God. And if everybody does that, then we can all lose. Then it all lightens up. Then,
mm.
then light can come in between the cracks. The alienation, isolation, distance we feel from each other will be filled up with light, and and then we ascend all together. That's the collective evolution. It's collective individuation.
Collective individuation consciousness. Hack says, I ask myself why I am conscious now.
Yeah. And what comes up when you When you ask yourself, yeah, it's like a. So that's why I'm saying I'm proud of my pain and my sorrow, my grief, because and my tears, because I'm crying them, because I'm crying them, I'm feeling them. I know that I'm taking responsibility for what is mine in it. And when I'm fully myself, maybe I can let go of this endless pressure and stress to also carry the weight of the world.
Mm, mm.
Maybe I feel the tension because I'm trying to use it to escape my own process. Yeah.
I think you're onto some gold there, Captain. I think you're onto some gold there, Captain. And I can validate that from my experience. Like, I mean, I still feel the weight of the mission,
Mm-hmm.
right? I still feel the weight of the mission and the existential threats and all of that. But before I entered my journey into the valley of tears,
Mm-hmm.
that weight was crushing me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken me a couple of years of deep diving into grief and in feeling the pain and going deeper into the pain, and not just like mind pain, but also working with the collective pain and feeling that Weltschmerz here and there as well. Um, to come to this point of like, okay, I'm gonna just like go at it with a bit of like satire and playfulness, and I still feel it. I mean, you know me. I still, I'm still a
Yeah.
sucker for diving deep into the grief and into the pain. But nevertheless, I think that has helped indeed. The more I'm able to feel the grief and to surrender into the grief, and also hold space for the grieving of others, the more I get to also play this game with a bit more lightness, because I've carried my part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expanding your capacity for service. Yeah, yeah. To be a midwife to the mystery.
A midwife of the mystery. Now tell me, Captain, what does it mean to be a midwife of the mystery? Because I think you're a bit more attuned to the mystery. I'm more of a magician than a mystic. I'm more like, I have a will and I shall cast my spells and bend reality to my will. And I think you're more of a mystic.
Mm, fair. That's more of my type. And it's yeah, okay. What's the, it's all coming together. Like there's the full spectrum, the
The
polycrisis,
gloom spectrum.
full spectrum. Yes, all the existential crises. That's a thing, and then also personal crises, like they but the funny thing is the personal crises, like the uh, coincide with the existential crises, coincide with the economic crises, because people have personal crises that are connected with not being able to like progress in the in the in adulting. There's no there's no space in culture for personal development. In a way, you
The
have to.
adulting games are rigged, man. The adulting games are rigged.
Yeah.
Sea Life is checking out, I hear. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you for showing up and checking us out. I'm looking forward to connect more with you. Thank you for being the first commenter on the Chaos Compass post, and blessings to you to Ohio, and looking forward to navigating the poly crisis with you. Welcome to the Elysium Liberation Front, my dear.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. Be well as well. Sea Hack Live. Haley. Ciao,
Uh,
Haley.
You know what I love about the Elysian Liberation Front?
Tell me.
That it's a counterweight in the mimetic space to the cult of Keck.
Ah, yes.
These frogmen and they're cold-blooded frogmen in the pond where they kind of like, you know, mix with the chemicals and lose their sense of self and just they're wallowing in the puddle of misery and coming up with the, no. This is there's a multifaceted, joyful, spacious, loving, creative, sexy, fiery
Sexy.
aliveness also on offer that is has much deeper roots because it's real, because it's been with us, because it's the neophilic. This is like the ancient struggle between fear and hope, between joy and judgment is
Oh, well said, Captain. Poetry to my ears. So let's talk. Maybe we can give a bit of context. A recent liberation front. We have not even talked about it, you and me. I've recruited you to my branch of the recent liberation front,
I
and we have not even talked
I was
about
already
what.
in. Just because you printed some business cards doesn't mean I wasn't already in.
All right.
But
You're an agent of your own, and we're
but fair
banding
enough.
together.
I hear already Jung in my head say, the integration is also the integration isn't complete until it is present in the outside world. Show it manifest. Then you shall know you shall know the tree by its fruits.
Hmm.
So in a sense, no, it's good. Indeed, I was in a way finally recruited. Like I knew about it, I was ready. Uh, I was like, "Come find me," and it happened. Yeah. You were indeed the first like card carrying member of this outfit that I had the luck to encounter.
Yeah. Well, I only just recently started to take my role as recruiter for the recent Liberation Front more seriously. I knew I was part of the recent Liberation Front already for years. Um, since reading the Illuminatus trilogy, and I was like, yeah, that's my club. But the recent Liberation Front and the Illuminatus is a bit of a more uh,
Yeah,
well,
just around if I have the book
I
with
don't
me.
know. Can we say this word? Terrorist organization, in a way.
You can say
But
it the same way that people when you say revolution, people are already thinking that you're terrorists because well, they're not really thinking it. They're just playing the tape that has the thought on it that they're supposed to play when they hear the word revolution.
but our game is playful liberation of consciousness, and it's about like making this rapid evolution game as fun, as sexy, as humorous, as lighthearted, warm, and absurd as we can.
But maybe we are terrorists in a way that we are making magic with the terror that is already present
Hmm.
because the terror is in a way already there, and this is and all I feel drawn to do is to point out that there are multiple interpretations for that terror, like because you get fed the terror plus a mandated or dictated reality tunnel of oh the reason you're afraid is because there's a big bad world out there and China and foreigners and the economy and and by the way here's like super rich people who own and control everything and yeah you don't have a chance to change their minds and it's not really but you get to vote so but you kind of and all of this nonsense like including like both the official story of the democracy and the unofficial story of the collapse of that democracy they are still layers of a story that is trying to disempower you. It's
Mhm.
not that you suddenly arrive at the truth the moment that you arrive at class consciousness and class struggle. This is just one angle that is part of it. In a way, the real truth is
So
you are a creator, you are a soul, you are like, you have God's own little light in your eyes, and this is the whole source and reason of your being, and it's
and
gonna
the act of terrorism that we are making is like breaking people out of the brain
right.
prisons in their own mind.
Yeah, this is in the Matrix. Like, I love the Matrix 4, like the final one. In a way, it's my favorite one. Of course, it's the worst Matrix movie, but in a way, it is the best one. There's this, you know, the Morpheus and the gang of the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar are also terrorists
Mm,
within the Matrix.
mhm, mhm.
One person's terrorist is another's freedom fighter. Yeah, I'm not so worried about it, and well, I mean, and we also I thought that because it's illegal in the Netherlands, the last thing that Mark Rutte, the present head of NATO, the last one of the most important things he did that was completely hidden during Corona was he changed the preamble. He added a preamble to the Constitution that specified that the Constitution was there to protect the nation state as such, and your rights within it. So in a way, like, it really like added a sort of clause that is unconstitutional to question the existence of the nation state. So I feel like when I advocate when I use my freedom of speech to advocate for the abolition of the nation state, this is not allowed.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so therefore, I won't, and I will advocate for changing the way that we elect our leaders from electoral from having an election. I change it to sortition. Sortition is just you randomly select from a pool of volunteers
Mm,
all the posts with power, and yeah, there's no repeat terms
mm.
because
And
this
like
way,
more near to the classic Greek democracy.
yeah, there's no yeah, except in a way, yes, there's no way here in this system. There's no way to make a political career.
Mm,
That's just the
mm,
issue. The issue is that we have that the most power is given to the people who most desire power,
mm.
which is the people that are least trustable with that power, and that's why we end up in kleptocracy and finally in yeah, in a toothless pseudo democracy, and therefore ending up almost by necessity, by completely predictable patterns. Even Lenin will tell you that this is exactly what happens. You end up in fascism because it is capitalism in decline. And then yeah, but then in China, stuff is going on that is just making it so hilariously obvious that yeah, we're getting lucky. We're getting lucky. I've been, yeah, thinking about the photo finish, like between catastrophic failure and glorious success. Like we are headed for dystopia and utopia, or collective evolution and extinction at the same time.
Yeah, I feel this is our like this parallel, right? So there's the wave, the dystopic wave, then there's a fascism retroactive wave that wants to go back to some form of like it was in the 50s. That
Totally,
would be
that's the
nice.
connection. Like the fascist wave and the dystopian wave are one. Like they're saying we want to go back, but really it's no fascism. I posted this before in the notes. I said it before. Like um, fascism is a revolutionary movement, and people forget this.
Mm,
Fascism is absolutely a revolutionary movement, and right now there is a fascistic revolution happening.
mm,
It's going on. Like they're doing it, and the difference is the fascism is the revolution of the bourgeoisie, or the revolution of the of the oligarchy, and in a strict sense of revolution, as in like using force to change the way of government.
Mm.
And they're
And
changing
to
the way of
like
government.
reshape society, it's not just the
Yeah,
form of the government. They're like they're making really hard cuts into the shape liberal society has evolved under democratic regimes.
yeah,
And this is going to be like very, very painful changes that are coming very sudden. So it's
yeah,
yeah. Um
yeah. And
yeah.
but I kind of feel that they are too incompetent to pull it off. But they are mean enough and brutal enough that people might give up and let them. In which case, their incompetence stops maturing.
Mm, 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 mm.
So the trick here is to not give in, not believe them. Like keep laughing at them. Keep laughing at them. Stay.
And keep upholding the narratives and building the structures and building the networks and like again back to Buckminster Fuller, right? Like create a new system to make the
Yeah.
old one obsolete. That's the mission.
And it is obsolete. It is very much
It
obsolete.
is something.
The only way to hold it now is through force, is
Yeah.
through violence, is through power,
Because life wants
or
to go
through
into a different direction. Life wants
that's
to
correct.
evolve in a different
Yeah,
direction.
exactly. It's splitting. It's splitting because it has to. It has to. We're literally destroying the viability of the ecosystem so much already. Even if we do it today, even if everybody drops enough mushrooms, ayahuasca, LSD, under proper guidance and with the right set and setting and breathing and doing yoga about it and being kind and generous to each other with lovely music and singing together, even then we could wake up from this illusion. And not that I deny the existence of reality, but the way in which we structure what we think we see is an illusion. So the narrative, yeah. Even if we wake up out of this narrative, even if we wake up out of the matrix and find ourselves in the real world, right now, what we will find out is that there is a lot of healing to be done, a lot of cleaning up to be done. That we will spend the
Mhm.
next 15,000 years uh, picking out nanoplastics from the bloodstreams of of underwater creatures. Uh, that we will that what what the aliens will do if they come. Here's what it, and we don't need the aliens for this because it's common sense. They simply come with a little letter and it says, here's your mission: leave the place better than you found it,
Mhm.
and then you will be accepted in the cosmic collective council of sentient species that can bear responsibility for interstellar travel.
Which brings me back to this like stewardship concept, right? This like
Right.
learning stewardship over the land, changing the relationship to the land. But it starts deeper in the individual, and I think that's like at least the main focus I have for our idea of this podcast is
Mm-hmm.
like the hidden treasure, right? It starts with the right relationship to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because we have not only not gotten the tools and the knowledge passed on to be in right relationship with the land, we have not been passed the tools often to be in right relationship with others, but mostly because we have not been passed tools to be in right relationship with ourselves. We're like alienated of ourselves, and I think that a lot of like spiritual mumbo jumbo is also playing into this neoliberal narrative and agenda of like you bypass your shit and like kill the ego, and also like psychedelic and the whole psychedelic not the whole but like a lot of like psychedelic narratives like dissolve the ego, kill the ego, don't have any ego, and sort of like be okay and vibing and cosmic consciousness and whatnot. Yeah, all valid, and we need to tap into those realms as well. But
Hmm.
if we bypass digging in the shadow and resolving our internal issues to get like in right relationship with ourselves, we're also not gonna get to the place of self-empowerment. We need to empower each other and to actually build communities, societies, relationships that can live up to this mission of stewardness. Because how many, I mean, we've been doing this
Hmm.
community experimentation since the 60s, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's a couple of communities and eco villages and
yeah, yeah,
whatnot
yeah,
that have been around for a couple of years and are doing sort of okay.
yeah.
But a lot of this experiment also fail. And they fail
But
because we
I
can't be in relationship with another because we're not in right relationship with ourselves.
not only, not only, but yes, it all comes together at the same time. Is my feeling here
Mm,
that we are not able to, when we will arrive at real right relationship with ourselves, we arrive at the same time as we arrive at right relationship with each other, right relationship to the land, right relationship to the earth. So we there is no fully complete, there is no enlightenment, there is no possibility of
mm,
an island,
mm,
you
mm, mm.
know, Wellebeck, and there's no socialism in one country, and there's no
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like it's all interconnected, and that's like the beauty of complex systems as well, right? That they all interact with one another. So if we start working on bringing our internal system more into balance, then we can show up also differently and create ripple effects in the systems outside of us.
I think it's
And if we can like foster the system outside of us and create better system outside of us, then we can be. It gets easier also to be in balance in our own inner systems.
love.
Mm,
It's love. It's love. It's the carrier wave for the connection and for telepathy and shared carrying of it. And we all become the web, like the network, like the thing that Starlink is trying to be by burning everything.
mm,
We can make this connection through love.
mm,
Feel it. I learned it. Like I feel the pain of when your love is not there, and I feel the connection. Like it doesn't matter how far away somebody is. I can feel what they're going through. I'm going through it with them, but the pain is harder because it's not with them. How can I be in right relationship with myself if I'm in a if I'm if it's hardly useful even to think of an I am. I don't want this hard shell. I want to share beingness. I
mm,
want to be in ourness.
mm.
Without connection, it's meaningless. I don't.
And
I
that
understand
means
individuation.
also sharing the pain.
Is the For me, the paradox of individuation is that indeed, if the integration is shown in the manifestation in the world, then the manifestation of individuation, so that you have really found you yourself, rather than uh, a network of dependency on projections,
Mm.
that you also arrive in right relationship to each other.
Yeah. And we've been on quite a journey, you and I, around that the
Yeah.
last couple of months.
Yes, I'm very grateful for the company. What a wild ride.
Uh, well, I do count you among the blessings that have entered my life in the last year. So, and I'm very, very curious and
Likewise.
excited about the seed we're planting today. And This is not yet a very refined format, but we're exploring. We're still in the exploration, and we're tuning in and vibing with each other. But the both of us have been quite through an underworld journey this last couple of weeks as well.
Uh,
And
yeah.
the original intention we set like a couple of months ago from this podcast is that we're going to be exploring live on Earth or podcasting or in recorded conversations. Before we
Yeah.
didn't thought of doing this live, but rather like record conversations and
Yeah.
upload them. And I
Yeah.
think there's a beauty in that as well, because then it's just like uninterrupted stream of consciousness without like tapping into the chat. So maybe we have different formats for
No,
it.
but I like live.
I
I
like
like the
live
rawness.
neuronas.
I feel like I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like
Like
I'm
there's no chance to edit it, and there's like no
it's already
backseat either.
out,
It's
and
like
if
you
I
have to
don't
say
say
it
it,
as
it
it
doesn't
goes.
feel
Yeah.
right. I have to show. It's a paradox. It's like yeah, it's like okay, it's surrender.
Okay. I'm leaning into it. I'm leaning into it. I think I've come away in your ideology of recording conversations.
But I
And
admit that this is different.
yeah, it's different. It's different, but it's okay. It's okay. I've said that before when I first came into the Chaos Magic podcast, and they said like, yeah, we're just gonna talk and riff and hang out, and no worries, like we can edit it after and cut some stuff out. And I was like, no, I'm practicing to stand by what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, give that raw transmission.
yeah.
So
You gotta be
what you can
willing.
expect.
You gotta be willing to be weird on the internet.
Yeah, you gotta be, yeah. Yeah, but that I yeah, totally. And I because this mission is also about calling in the weirdos, because that's about like the times are getting weirder,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the weirdos need to turn pro.
We need the neophilic union revolution.
There is a liberation front. And that's like we are collecting top-notch weirdos that we want to support in turning pro.
Liberating Eris. Yeah, it's specifically that, huh? Because it's like, hey, like it's like because chaos is a dirty word.
Yeah, I was just saying that, the call I had before with the Lionheart tribe, and I showed them my Ormec recruiting page, and we were workshopping on that, and they were like, "Yeah, like I don't know about cows. A lot of people have like a negative association with cows, but that's exactly the mission:
Yeah,
rebranding cows. It's about rebranding cows. That's the core of my mission. My service to Eris is like
right. And it's like,
because like chaos, what people usually call chaos is only like one aspect of chaos, destructive disorder. But there's also creative disorder, the disruption,
and they're
the
doing
artistry, the inspiration, the breaking of oppressive structures. That's
yeah,
also part of
and
the chaos. And order
calling chaos
can be
destructive.
destructive, but also can be creative, right? We
And
need a
even
certain
and let's
order
not
to
forget,
thrive and to bloom.
and order can also be destructive. You can see
Yes.
that. We get this example right now. No, no, the whole idea that chaos is somehow destructive and bad is exactly the propaganda you would expect to encounter in an overly structured paradigm. We are, you know, people are like, oh, Eris was the one who rolled this golden apple in front of this onto the party because she was not invited. She was not invited because she would make chaos. So they didn't invite her. So she threw the golden apple in. And from there, the gods predictably went to involve men in their quibble,
Thrive.
in their strife, in their quibbles. And then from there, men proceeded to make escalating drama decisions that ended up in the Trojan War and finally the founding of Rome. And then Rome colonized Europe and destroyed the Celts and destroyed our relationship to nature and isolated us and founded the empire.
And it's like the whole monotheistic shenang is just a bad trip, it's just a
Yeah.
bad gray face fucking trip.
And then from there, we colonized from Europe, here, from the Netherlands, I can say we colonized everywhere, made a fucking gross mess of the world. and we still continuing. Like, when is the game over? When have we suffered enough for our unwillingness to integrate chaos?
My claim is embrace it to surf it, right? Embrace the chaos to surf it in all of its sides. We needed both, like order and disorder, and sometimes the creative side, and sometimes the destructive side as well.
And Eris, in Dutch, Eris just means there is.
There is.
Sometimes you just gotta accept what is there, and that includes accepting that you're not in control,
Mm-hmm.
and that if you make attempts to get in control again when it feels like you're not in control, you're only gonna make it worse, only gonna create more strife. So ah, yeah, I feel really reinvigorated right now. Like, I feel like, yes, this is exactly the path. This is the path. There you go. Congratulations. Like, on the mission.
It was a bit of a drag to get you there today.
I know. I mean, well, the time slot. I felt like I had already basically given my whole. Yeah, it was a bit of a drag to get me here, but it's also I'm dealing with a lot.
I
Okay,
know. I know, I
and that's
know, I
kind of,
know.
and I
And it's
am kind
not.
of. This is kind of like finding real allowance to let the process take its time. Like, my grief. Yeah, I'm in it for like what, 6, 7 months, and it's really holding me back. But in a way, it is ancient. It's more ancient than that, and I'm going through all of it. And what if it takes another 6 months? But I can. No, 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 no. It won't. It won't, because there's
The
also
thing
the
is,
moon
the thing
transit.
is, and this is what I was trying to tell you the other day, it's
Moon
like
transit opposite
with the grief,
Pluto
you.
transit. Sorry, I want to finish my thought. And then it's because Pluto is transiting my moon, and it takes forever. It's like, as Pluto is entering Aquarius, where we have new moon in Aquarius right now. Like, this is happening opposite my moon, and it's oof, oof. Moon or Pluto only goes 256 takes 256 years to go around the whole thing. So I'm very unlucky to even have to deal with the moon, to even have to deal with a Pluto opposite moon transit at all. But it's going on like in such an interesting simultaneous thing with the planetary system and collective, that, I have to humble myself and just carry it and acknowledge it and take part in it. Okay.
I'm sorry for interrupting. What I wanted to remind you of, like, yeah, grief takes its time. Fuck, I mean, I've been like 7 years, 7 years in a process of like feeling the bottom up grief that I had not allowed. 7 years. It's been a 7 year cycle of grief. Um, what I've learned though is that you need to come back for a breather and also carry on, and allow the waves of grief to come. And when they come, indulge and feel them and let them move through. And then come back up and keep moving and keep creating and keep doing, because it's gonna take a while, and how much are you losing and missing out for putting everything on pause?
No, but I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm feeling it. It's yes, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I was fighting myself because of it. I know. Yes, I feel FOMO about my life passing me by while I'm in pain, and I don't feel like I'm getting, and getting enough admonishment even from her about, hey, you should be using this productively. Don't waste your pain. Come on, come on. No, I'm
Oh,
also
yeah.
learning to stand up for my own needs of feeling my feelings,
Oh,
especially to the internal and external psychos who tell me that who tell me how to deal how to feel it, or to not feel it, or gaslight you into trying to make it your fault, like the same way that you get the individualized CO2 footprint bill. invented by British Petroleum. They're the one who came up with this idea of CO2 footprint, and now they give us this fake recycling where we waste time separating our trash, and they end up throwing it in the same incinerator anyway because it's actually too expensive, or not too expensive. There's no profit in it if you sort it out really. If you take the trash and you properly recycle and sort it out, there's no more profit. There's no margins on that process. Big one for next episode. I want to talk about how I feel like profit is waste. Profit is a deliberate waste that makes processes less efficient, and this is how a Chinese AI thing can be so much more efficient and cheaper and everything than what is built now, because we've lost, I correct myself, the internalized Western perspective paradigm is making me say we have lost our ability, like, to innovate,
Mm.
because the only innovation is how can we increase the profit margin.
Mm.
And
So that Arisianism is a non-profit society or a
yeah,
non-profit society as well.
yeah.
So as a non-profit society,
Oh my dear heart. Oh, what? Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, like we're just some other random fools and seekers rambling here on the internet, sharing stream of consciousness. I
Uh-huh.
think we've been at it like for 90 minutes now, right?
I'm happy to
Almost
wrap it
90
up.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I can feel that we.
Let's wrap it up,
Thank
and
you.
I would like to, yeah, just like wrap it up at the end, maybe with like what can viewers expect from us if they tune into our live ramblings and explorations of the Hidden Treasure podcast.
Perhaps more of this. Perhaps more of even more experimentations with formats, and um, I would like to do more interactions with people.
Mm.
But definitely a lot of this, and whatever else you want. It's also cosmic customer care. I'm also happy to do sets of that here. I think. Yeah.
Oh, kind of like doing cosmic customer care sessions live on our. Mm.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
also.
well, so for the viewers, there's another radio show we're co-creating with some other fools in Berlin. That's called the Cosmic Customer Care Show, where we offer psychedelic peer support.
Yeah. So if
Um,
you're tripping and you could use some, you can tune into us, and we'll trip sit with you remotely.
but also, if you find yourself after a trip with a broken reality tunnel and can't make sense of shit, you can also call in the Cosmic Customer Care support for integration and sense making.
Yeah, yeah. We're substance agnostic. Like if you're tripping on, you can be tripping on your grief. Also, you can be tripping on stuff happening in your life that you could use some perspective on, that isn't, somehow projecting or connected to, it doesn't have so much skin in the game. Although we have skin in each other's games always, because we are fellow humans, and empathy is the primary thing to grow right now.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, all that one went through. Mm. Empathy is the primary thing to grow right now. So, like planting seeds of empathy. And I think that's also a part of the Hidden Treasure podcast. As at least like as we have been exploring in previous recording, it has been about listening to each other as well, sharing stories. So I've been holding space for your inner processes. You've been holding space for my inner processes, and we've been helping each other pass around the shuffle to dig for the gold uh, in the dark.
David Lynch, very likely to be resting in peace right now, as he passed while meditating with the golden shovels. Yeah.
And what I kind of like framed as filling the gaps in the maps. There's two thoughts I want to share about that. For one, it's about sense making, right, and collective sense making and story weaving and helping each other and the others to make sense of the experience of the poly crisis in a yeah, increasingly chaotic and absurd world.
Hmm.
Um, but also, and that was like at least one intention I had from the beginning, to be a podcast to talk with the pirates of the Pipilotta, because I'm a map maker, right? And I'm creating this maps of consciousness and these different territories of mind, and especially like your spots that you found at the end of the journey. I was like, oh, he found some gaps in the map, you found some other, like, after through the journey on the Pipilota, you found some other spots and you
Yeah.
mapped them, and they are gaps in my map. So it is also about
Where do I have it?
helping
I
each
remember having
other.
a map. I remember having like a compass drawn and like having a map and having spots on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's part of it. I think I have it somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. So you found some spots that are gaps in my
For
map.
context,
So
like for the gap in the map here in the reality map for the audience, like Mariana is a pirate captain on a metaphysical cruise, coaching cruise through the treacherous waters of the psyche and personal development. And I was lucky to be on your crew in this for the for a sizable chunk of my grieving process, like 3 months, and it just felt so guided and protected to be uh, to be given this container for for my process that it really gives me hope and like I just know that life, yeah, that God is real and life is a gift and yeah, and synchronicity is one of the most clear signs for that. And it's another Carl Jung book. He invented this word synchronicity. We use it, but I recommend. I will not hesitate to encourage people to read it. It's a very thin one. If you're gonna start somewhere, try with this one. It's one of the most readable and more directly practical. It's almost like a workbook, like the here's just some exercises, like as element of it. The most recognizable Jung thing. Anyway, yes, and this is
and
and this yeah. The Iranian Liberation Front, Discordianism also works with synchronicity to a great extent, and this is why it all felt like completely falling into place. Okay, yeah.
yeah, the way we met felt very synchronicitous indeed. Um, but maybe we share that story in the
Another
next
time,
transmission.
but rest assured, it was also yeah, magical. Magic is like this is in a way, yeah. Maybe I can find a way to mingle my fear of chaos as a spiritual sense
Mm,
with like somehow have this marriage of Christianity and chaos again, because it's not that I was kind of raised a Christian sort of, and
me too.
it's stuck. It appears to have stuck because it
Mm.
works, because Jesus saves. When you have a really bad trip,
Uh,
stuff is coming at you, demons coming at you at a speed and size you can't handle in your worst trips. I just go, Jesus save me, and it's I don't I rarely even get to finish the sentence before it's yeah.
well, you do have like a powerful connection to this archetype. It seems I did reject my Christian imprint pretty young. And when started dabbling with witchcraft around like 14, 15, something like that.
There's the patriarchy in the Christian religion. in like what has become the church. It's not the Christian religion, but it's like the that's the patriarchy in there. It's like it includes an immediate like mandatory rejection of chaos, feminine, magic, and in a way agency over the unseen aspects of life. Like you're supposed to hand that all over to a man in a dress with a beard at the front of who has the big desk. This is a very useful metaphor for what came after. Is this the
And
new?
that's what I love about chaos magic. It's that's really a path of non-profits.
Yeah, exactly. So, but really, we wrap it up.
like like really fuck around, find out, experiment for yourself, and
Yeah.
make up your own mind. Don't believe any bullshit anybody's serving you. Don't believe your own bullshit sometimes.
Don't
Discern
believe.
when you're bullshitting yourself
Don't believe
and
everything you think.
use your bullshitting wisely. And that's why I like to define chaos magic as the art of mind fucking yourself into your desired reality
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
So yeah. Expect some mindfuckery from us, expect some rambling, expect some digging for the hidden treasures, filling up the gaps in the maps, story weaving, and what else? Like
And
inspiration for rapid evolution to
and
join the recent liberation front.
yeah, and collaboration. Like we're happy to. I think it would be great to yeah, turn this into a chat room and invite people to come in and have their questions or have their takes or have their moment in the sun. Like I think more perspectives, less projections,
Mm,
less yeah. Let's air out these shadows and bring in the awareness. That's all. That's all.
that's all.
Do your best. Just give it all. Give it your all.
With heart and empathy.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. There's no. We don't have time. There's no more space to hold back. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. All the nonsense stopped working, and we starting to see that. And I'm so glad to. You know, it seems like so much work that the only way to do it is to do it in a peaceful way and to relax and to give it. Yeah. Yeah. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up.
No. But that's the other bit about my metaphor with cow surfing, right? It's not just going with the flow or surrendering to the flow and letting the current carry you. When you're surfing, you still have agency. You have agency if you're gonna like go and paddle to take the wave, if you're gonna go over the wave, under the wave, and if you catch the wave, if you're gonna lean into the left and to the right, or like you have those moments of micro decisions of agency to like how you're standing on your board and how you're taking the wave and which waves you're taking and which waves you're not.
Okay, okay.
Hmm? What was that?
Like, okay, I want to caution us against opening every. I want to wrap it up because I'm worried about post processing now.
Yeah, no, let's wrap it up. I think that's the word of the end. Um, how do we end? Do we have like a
No, we don't, but we figured it out.
yeah.
Just peace, peace.
We still have two viewers, so
Yeah, yeah. Well,
apparently like they
good.
stayed over on for the rest of the call.
Maybe they closed the tab. Maybe they're not here. Maybe they running the tab just to please the
Yes,
algorithm.
no, that's nice if they are, and if not, like good night.
See you. See you next time. We will be here.
We'll be here. And this format will evolve with us as we
Oh yeah.
find the treasures that we share.
Okay.
All right,
Bless
Captain.
you.
Bless you too.